Hello and welcome to the ride. I'm riding on the A428, which runs between Northampton and Bedford. In the 19th century, this stretch of road was known as the Northampton to Cold Brayfield Turnpike, part of the national road system of such turnpikes that were maintained from the proceeds of tolls paid by road users at toll gates. As I ride this road, I want to focus particularly on those parts of the old turnpike which now deviate from the modern A428. The old turnpike route started in the centre of Northampton, and using old Ordnance Survey maps published in the 1880s, the same decade as when the Turnpike Trust was finally wound up, you can see how the road passed from west to east to cross the River Nen at St Peter's Bridge, there at the bottom right of the map, which is near where I am now. Here the A428 and the old turnpike part company ever so briefly. I'm at the left of this modern Ordnance Survey map, just above the sports ground. The modern A428 in red crosses the map west to east. The old turnpike, highlighted by the orange arrow, swings below the new road. That's the new road running up above at a higher level now. And starting in this car park, I'll follow the route of the old turnpike as far as I can. The old road is now subsumed in the Brack Mills trading estate. This happened, I guess, in the 1880s when the new town expansion to the south of Northampton was started. The Britannia Inn, coming up there on the left, was established in 1827, the same year that the turnpike opened for business. Probably not a coincidence. And coming up too is St Peter's Bridge. One stood here before 1827, then it was replaced by an iron bridge in 1842. The one I'm crossing now appears to me to have been built in the 1960s. This is as far as I can ride on this particular stretch of the old road. Until the 1980s, I would have been facing the tunnel under a railway line, after which the old road turned sharp left. You might just make this out on this old Ordnance Survey map, there at the bottom right of the map. As things stand now, the route of the old road is now a cycle path. There on this new map, I've marked the cycle path as a dotted orange line. I'd better not risk riding the cycle path, so about turn I must. Which takes me back over St Peter's Bridge and past there on the right the Britannia Inn. Continuing eastwards now along the current A428, I'm heading towards the village of Little Houghton. Here's the old map showing the road passing through the village. Here it is again highlighted. And here's the modern map showing how the A428 passes south of the village, completely bypassing. Here's the old, there's the new. And here I am, dismissing the bypass option to follow the old turnpike road through Little Houghton, as did the A428 until 1980. The old turnpike road wound its way through Little Houghton village and continued to do so as the A428 until a little over 40 years ago. There's the sign to Little Houghton. In its 1826 application to Parliament to become a turnpike, the managing trust proposed to build a bypass south of Little Houghton. It never happened because of the cost. The bypass was not completed until well after the turnpike era. In fact, in 1980, that's 154 years after it was first deemed necessary. The village is full of narrow roads and sharp bends. Right, I'm just riding out of the village now, still on the route of the old turnpike. And I'm now about to rejoin today's A428 at the other end of the bypass to continue eastwards on my journey. Traces of the old road can be seen on the modern Ordnance Survey map below the current road. I've marked the old road in green to the right of the map there. The older maps describe the properties here as Primrose Cottages. And I'm going to turn right ahead to join that stretch of old road. This section was probably bypassed in 1980 as part of the Little Houghton bypass project. And this indeed is as far as I can get on the old road. So I'm now turning back on myself to rejoin the A428. So, rejoining the modern road. To the bottom right of the map there, I've highlighted where a bend in the road was removed. The old bend in the road can still be followed through a lay-by, this one coming up on the left. Where I'm about to meet the modern road again, the old road carried straight on, right through where those trees are now. There, just under Home Farm, I've highlighted how the old road swung south of the current A428 to bend back into the village of Brayfield on the Green. Those bends in the old road were removed and a staggered junction introduced at the Brayfield crossroads, sometime between 1946 and 1942, according to the Ordnance Survey maps of those two dates. There's the old crossroads in the village. And there's the new map showing the straightened road and the staggered junction. And here I am entering Brayfield on the Green. On the left is one road of the staggered junction. On the right is the other. And that's Brayfield on the Green. I'm heading now for the village of Denton. And here's a map that needs no annotation. Remember, I'm riding west to east, that's left to right on the map. The old turnpike road, coloured orange, winds its way through Denton village. The bypass, coloured red, is clearly visible on the map running south of the village. So I've left the modern road and I'm now following the route of the old turnpike right through the heart of Denton. In its 1826 application to Parliament to become a turnpike, the Northampton and Cold Brayfield Turnpike Trust proposed to build a bypass south of Denton. It never happened because of the cost. The bypass was not completed until well after the turnpike era in 1931. That's 105 years after it was first deemed necessary. The concrete road bypassed the narrow roads and bends in the village. There's Denton Church, past which the traffic poured until the bypass was built. Note, I said the bypass was a concrete road when new, as were many main roads of that interwar era. Again, narrow roads and lots of sharp bends, typical of these small villages. This would have been a bit of a drag for a stagecoach. And here I am about to emerge from the old road at the eastern end of the Denton bypass to rejoin today's A428. So I'm now riding towards the next parting of the ways between old and new at the village of Yardley Hastings. Firstly, here's the old map showing how the old turnpike road passed right through the village. There it is highlighted for clarity. The obvious thing to do was to push a bypass through here. There it is in green, cutting out the village's narrow roads and sharp bends. And here's the modern map showing how today's A428 does exactly that. So I'm now turning left off the A428 to follow the old turnpike route through Yardley Hastings. This old pub coming up on the left, the Rose and Crown, would have served travellers on the old turnpike. It might even have been a staging post for the changes of horses on the stagecoaches. Here we are through a little village square in Yardley Hastings. There was an original proposal in 1827 for the much needed bypassing of Yardley Hastings, yet it was deemed again too impractical to carry out. Bedford Road West, as the bypass was named, was eventually opened on the 27th of November 1912 by S.G. Stopford Sackville, County Council Chairman. That happened 85 years after the bypass was deemed to be necessary. There's a pub called the Red Lion up on the left here. There's the sign, you might just see it on the left. That would have been a rival to the Rose and Crown in providing refreshment to the travellers on this old turnpike road. Right, back to the modern A428 at the eastern end of that 100-plus-year-old bypass. Next call is Warrington. That's Warrington in Buckinghamshire. Again, this climb out of Yardley Hastings would have been a bit of a drag for those stagecoaches with their teams of horses back in the turnpike era. You'll see on this old map towards the bottom right the sharp bend in the road. There it is highlighted. Well, this stretch of twisty road was eventually straightened in 1980. There's the modern map showing the straightened road below Broad Lane Spinney, and that's the old road highlighted in green. Okay, I'm now looking for that bending stretch of old turnpike road on the left. And this is it. It's now virtually the private road to a few houses and a farm. And this is as far as I can ride. I have to stop here and turn at what is presumably Broad Lane Spinney. And this that I am now riding is presumably the Broad Lane after which the Spinney was named. Having retraced that stretch of old road, I'm back once more on the A428, making my way to the next place of interest on the Northampton to Cold Brayfield Turnpike. And that place is the village of Lavenden. There's the old map, and it shows the road winding through the village west to east. It's just about the same as today. Lavenden was never bypassed. The most momentous thing to happen to the road through here was a slight widening of the road. That widening of the road happened in 1954. And it happened here, on the bend right in the middle of Lavendon. There's a plaque on the wall to the right, you might just see it. That was put up in 1954 to celebrate that great event. There's an old coaching inn coming up on the right, the Horseshoe, which would have served travellers on the old turnpike and the new road today. And there's another on the left, the Green Man, both of course vying for business from the passing stagecoach traffic and later from cyclists and later still the motor traffic of the 20th century to the present day. And just beyond Lavendon, the responsibilities of the Northampton and Cold Brayfield Turnpike Trust ended at the junction of today's A428 Bedford Road with the B565 from Newport Pagnell and Olney, just short of the village of Cold Brayfield. And coming up on the map, you'll see that junction marked. On the map, I'm travelling from north to south. If you've enjoyed the historical twists and turns along what might otherwise be thought of as just an ordinary road, please like, subscribe and perhaps even share, and I'll let you know when I'm next out and about. For now, I'm done.